So earlier this month, when First Republic Bank collapsed, multiple banks were interested in buying the failed bank. Banking regulators chose JP Morgan Chase, America's biggest bank. The result was that a gigantic, poorly supervised bank was swallowed up by an even more gigantic bank, and now the biggest bank in the country is about $200 billion bigger than it was before. So in order for the deal to go through, two separate regulators had to sign off. When the FDIC sells a failed bank, the law requires it to choose the highest bidder that will result in the lowest cost to the deposit insurance fund. But the law also requires sign-off from the OCC. And the OCC's job, by law, is to consider whether the merger would pose, quote, risk to the stability of the United States banking or financial system, end quote. Acting Controller Sue, OCC regulations include a list of factors that the OCC must consider when evaluating, quote, risk to the stability of the banking system. Do you know the first item on that list?
It relates to the financial stability, whether there's a threat to financial stability in the U.S.
Whether or not, and what is the item you're supposed to consider? The very first one on the list.
I believe it is whether the merger will have financial stability impacts.
Because of
the merger.
No, it's whether the proposed transaction would result in a material increase in risks to the financial stability due to an increase in the size of the combining institutions. It troubles me that you don't remember this. So how do we know if a purchasing bank poses more or less risk to the banking system? Well, one metric that regulators use is the GSIB score, which estimates the impact on our financial system of the failure of each of our largest banks. The size of the bank is a big factor in its GSIB score. So let's look at the GSIB scores and figure out if JP Morgan, according to the OCC's own analysis, presented more risk to the banking system than the other bidders that have been widely reported in the press. So PNC tried to buy the failing bank, but you approved JP Morgan instead. Acting Controller Sue, is the GSIB score for JP Morgan bigger than the equivalent score for PNC?
It is.
How much bigger?
I don't know the exact magnitude of it off the top of my head.
Do you want to make a guess?
It's bigger.
8 times bigger? Does that sound right? Yeah.
Good morning, friends. Our government wants you to claim this relief. Millions of Americans residing in several states are missing out on another payment from our federal government. If you are a part-time worker or a senior citizen and do not file taxes, you will likely qualify for one of these checks. My friends, I'll be going over what you need to know, so please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, in a video later today, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Nearly 1.5 million Americans could be owed a share of unclaimed tax refunds from 2019. According to the Internal Revenue Service, the outstanding funds are worth almost $1.5 billion in total, with an average payout of almost $900. Typically, there is a 3-year deadline to claim these refunds before the cash becomes property of the U.S. Treasury. Because of the crisis, there has been an extension for 2019 tax returns. This means taxpayers have until July 17th to claim their money. According to the Internal Revenue Service, Texas residents are owed the most, with an estimated 135,000 residents in the state, sitting on an average of $925, totaling over $141 million. The state-by-state breakdown, calculated by the tax agency, shows that California residents have the second highest sum of possible refunds, with $141 million potentially owed to about 145,000 individuals. Florida comes in third, with a median projected refund of $893 for about 90,000 residents. The IRS predicts 81,000 New Yorkers could be owed almost $87 million, while people living in the state of Illinois could also be sitting on about $57 million in unclaimed cash. The state with the lowest sum of unclaimed tax refunds is Vermont, where 3,100 people could be eligible for just over $3 million in refunds. However, the average amount of money that is owed is slightly over the national median at $901. According to the Internal Revenue Service, students, part-time workers, and seniors often overlook filing a tax return and never realize they are owed a refund check. So experts are warning that Americans should start gathering the records and file their tax returns soon to avoid missing out on a potential windfall. Low to middle income workers might also not realize that they stand to lose out on more than a missed refund. The IRS warns that workers may be eligible for the so-called Earned Income Tax Credit, which provides a tax break even without a balance due. The Earned Income Tax Credit puts an average of $2,043 back in recipients' hands and helped lift millions of children above the poverty line last year. 31 million Americans applied and received the credit last year, but a fifth of taxpayers who are eligible for the credit still do not claim it. Tax credits help reduce how much you owe or can help give you a refund. There are a few basic qualifications for the Earned Income Tax Credit, including being a U.S. citizen and having earned income from wages, a salary, or a business. Now, in the Senate, Democrats are warning the president not to agree to anything that would hurt low-income Americans or undermine the battle against climate change. Democratic senators are increasingly concerned that any deal that Biden strikes with Speaker McCarthy will include major concessions to House conservatives that they would find hard to support. Democratic senators see the growing likelihood that Biden will agree to cut tens of billions of dollars in non-defense domestic spending and make it easier to approve new fossil fuel extraction projects. This has spurred some of them to urge the president to raise the debt limit unilaterally and circumvent Republican lawmakers altogether. Senate Democrats have urged President Biden for months not to negotiate with Speaker McCarthy over any legislation to raise the debt limit. The president followed that advice for months, but he changed course this week by tapping two senior officials, Office of Management and Budget Director Shalonda Young, to take the lead in negotiating with Kevin McCarthy's deputy, Representative Garrett Graves. There are several Democrats that have said they will not vote for any legislation that would go against the promises they have made to the American people. Senate Democrat Tim Kaine said he will oppose any effort by House Republicans to use debt limit legislation to roll back the clean energy tax breaks included in last year's Inflation Reduction Act. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on the current ongoing negotiations? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Well, my beautiful and awesome friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Friday morning. Thank you, dear friends, for being here and for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners in a video later today for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, my friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.